take. Here are our DFS picks for the Cowboys at Cardinals Showdown. We are building around opportunity, matchup context, and leverage. We are starting at quarterback with Dak Prescott. The Cardinals have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, based on the opponent rank of 17, so this is not a smash spot, but it is not prohibitive either. Dak's fantasy points per game sit at 21, with recent scores of 9, 23, and 22, so the range of outcomes is wide, but the ceiling is there. Projected at 19 points, he fits well in balanced builds, and projections are reliable for quarterbacks with sustained starting time. We also like the correlation paths with his pass catchers. For context, national rankings pieces this season have consistently grouped Dak among the top weekly fantasy options, and there was reporting about his preference not to use wristbands to keep command of the huddle, which underscores his full-field control and helps explain spike weeks in pace and volume. At flex, our favorite Dallas play is Javonte Williams. The opponent rank of 17 again signals a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, but Javonte's dash rank of 95 and projection of 16 jump off the page at his salary. He's averaging 19 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 18, 22, and 8, and he is tracking at about 1% owned, which gives us strong leverage on a back with feature usage. We are pointing to multiple news items to support this. Reporting has the Cowboys listing Javonte as the starting running back, and a league-wide piece noted he has had a solid start to the season in Dallas. There is also lingering market skepticism from last year's Denver inefficiency headlines, but the role in Dallas is what we are buying, and low ownership makes this one of our favorite tournament pivots. On the Cardinals' side, Trey McBride is our priority. Dallas shows up as one of the worst defenses overall for this slate with the opponent rank at 31, so this is a favorable matchup. McBride carries a dash rank of 89, a projection of 17, and a strong 16 fantasy points per game, with massive recent totals of 29, 21, and 9. Ownership is near zero, which is surprising given the workload and the matchup. News has been steady around McBride as the focal point of this passing game, including his touchdown against the Colts and features during the bye week about how central he is to the offense. He is our top captain candidate because he gives elite volume at lower ownership than a quarterback. We also like Marvin Harrison Jr. as a leverage wide receiver. He draws the same favorable opponent rank of 31, is projected at 14, and has recent scores of 8, 5, and 14. Ownership is near zero, which makes him a classic tournament ceiling play. There was a recent note about a scary moment when he slammed his head on the turf, and separate reporting about drops turning into interceptions, which explains the low sentiment and volatility. That volatility is exactly why we want him in large field GPPs, where his athletic ceiling can swing a showdown. For a contrarian Cardinals running back, Bam Knight is viable. With the opponent rank of 31 signaling one of the worst defenses overall for this slate's purposes, his projection of 11 with steady recent scores of 9, 12, and 9 makes him a salary-balanced route if you fade a piece of the Cardinals' passing game. Ownership is near zero. A team report noted the Cardinals have suffered multiple running back injuries this year, with a potential new leader emerging, which fits Knight as a live candidate to consolidate touches in certain scripts. We will monitor Kyler Murray. He is listed as questionable and carries a very low projection in this dataset, which introduces risk. Multiple injury updates referenced uncertainty on his status, and the coaching staff addressing his future. If Kyler is limited or out, that concentrates targets even more toward McBride and Harrison, while elevating kicker and short-area pass game usage. If he is fully active, we bring back a Dallas stack with at least one Cardinals pass catcher, because the opponent rank indicates a favorable environment. Jake Ferguson is a strong correlation play with Dak. The opponent rank is 17. He's projected at 12, with 15 fantasy points per game, and recent scores of 0, 22, and 12. He is around 1% owned, which is too low for a tight end who leads red zone routes in many Dallas game plans. A preseason note said he is locked in as the 2025 season begins, and he has been profiled as a go-to option for Dak, which matches the game logs. We like pairing Dak with Ferguson in builds that fade one of the more expensive Cardinals. Kickers are firmly in play on this slate. Brandon Aubrey projects at 11 with recent scores of 6, 17, and 9 and about 1% ownership. News highlighted him winning a weekly fan-voted award and being one of the biggest legs in the league, which supports long field goal equity. On the other side, Chad Ryland projects at 9 with recent scores of 12, 11, and 3 and about 1% ownership, and reports credited him with a game-winning kick recently. In builds that anticipate stalled drives and a tighter game, one kicker can be a slate breaker. For value, Michael Wilson, at this salary level, gives us an 8-point projection with recent scores of 7, 8, and 4, and about 1% ownership. He benefits directly from the opponent rank of 31 as a cheap bringback. Zay Jones is a pure salary relief dart at a 6-point projection. His ownership is near 0, and there was a league announcement about his early season suspension that likely depresses sentiment. If he is active, he can pay off with one big catch and lets us jam an extra stud. Defense is where we will get different. The Cowboys' defense projects at 7 with an opponent rank of 23, which points to the Cardinals having one of the worst defenses overall, not necessarily a smash for the Dallas D. The dash rank of 8 is low, so we will be underweight here at expected field confidence. The Cardinals' defense projects at 5 with an opponent rank of 2, which means the Cowboys have a tough defense overall, a tough ask for defensive scoring. Both units look like thin contrarian punts rather than core plays. Our captain pool is Trey McBride for volume and matchup leverage, Dak Prescott for raw ceiling and correlation, Javonte Williams for role, plus ownership leverage, and Marvin Harrison Jr. for volatile ceiling. In salary-squeezed builds, we will consider Brandon Aubrey as a game script captain when projecting a field goal, heavy night. Our core build approach. If we captain McBride, we run at least one of Dak or Javonte for bring-back volume and add a value cardinal like Michael Wilson or a kicker. If we captain Dak, we stack him with 2 Dallas pass catchers, typically Ferguson plus either Javonte or Aubrey, and bring back McBride or Harrison. If we go contrarian with Javonte at captain, we emphasize Dallas control game scripts and use Ryland or Bam Knight on the bringback to capture red zone touches and short fields. For large field entries, we mix in Harrison or Knight as leverage on very low ownership. We like this slate because the field appears underweight on McBride and Javonte, based on the news cycle and ownership projections, while Dak-centered stacks remain the safest route to raw points. Good luck tonight.